You see, every single morning when you wake up, you're stepping into a ring. And in one corner, there's the you that's tired, doubtful, full of fear and excuses. In the other corner, there's the you that's disciplined, hungry, bold, and full of dreams. The real battle is internal. Most people never lose to others. They lose to the voice in their own head. You know, the real battle, the hardest one you will ever fight in this life, it ain't with another person. It ain't with your boss, your haters, or the economy. It's with yourself. That's the fight. And let me tell you why that matters. See, most folks walk around thinking their biggest obstacle is external. If I just had more money, they say. If I just had more time, more support, a better background. But that's not the truth. That's the illusion. The real enemy is not the world outside. It's the war going on inside. Every one of us has two versions of ourselves living inside. One is driven, confident, focused. It believes in possibility. The other, that one's scared. That one's full of doubt, full of fear, and quick to run when things get uncomfortable. That second voice, that's the one most people listen to. And they do it for so long, they start thinking that's who they are. But let me break this down from a deeper angle. This is psychological. That negative voice, that's your ego trying to keep you safe. It ain't evil. It's just outdated. It's your mind reacting to uncertainty the same way it did when survival was about running from lions. But growth don't happen in survival mode. Growth happens when you step into uncertainty with faith, not fear. And philosophically, it's simple. The highest form of human achievement is self-mastery, not control over others, not wealth, not status. Mastery over yourself, when you stop fighting the world and start confronting the version of you that's holding you back, that's when transformation begins. So let me leave you with this. If you can win the war within, nothing outside can defeat you. Comfort zones kill potential. You can't grow in comfort. The person you want to become is hiding behind discomfort. Let me tell you something real simple, but real true. Comfort zones feel good, but they're dangerous. Matter of fact, they're silent killers. They don't kill your body, they kill your becoming. That's what makes them so tricky. It's like living in a padded cell. You feel safe. You feel warm, but you ain't going nowhere. See, psychologically, the brain is wired to avoid discomfort. It treats anything unfamiliar as a threat, even if that unfamiliar thing is the very thing that would change your life. You ever notice how people say they want more? More success, more growth, more freedom, but then they keep doing the same things that keep them small. That's because growth demands risk, and risk feels uncomfortable. But let's go deeper. Philosophically, life is about evolution. If you are the same person today that you were last year, something's off. I mean, everything in nature either evolves or dies. Trees grow, water flows, even snakes shed their skin. So why are you still holding on to habits, mindsets, and fears that no longer fit where you're trying to go? And let me be clear, you cannot pray your way past discomfort. You walk through it. Discomfort is the tuition you pay for purpose. It's the gym where character gets built. You think champions feel good all the time. No, they just get used to the burn because they know what's on the other side. So when you feel uncomfortable, stop running, start leaning in. That's your signal that you're entering the arena of growth, of greatness. Don't let your comfort zone become your casket, because here's the truth. Everything you want lies just outside the borders of what feels safe. Step out and step into who you were born to be, Excuses are lies you sell yourself. Stop giving excuses power. They're just reasons you made up to stay where you are. Let's talk about excuses. Man, if I had $1 for every excuse I told myself over the years, I wouldn't even need to work. And that's the trap. Excuses sound smart when you say them out loud. They sound reasonable, logical. I'm too tired. It's not the right time. I've got responsibilities. You dress them up with big words and real emotion, and you start believing your own story. But listen to me, an excuse is nothing but a lie dressed up in a tuxedo. Psychologically, excuses are your mind's way of protecting you from perceived failure. It's a defense mechanism. Your brain would rather preserve your ego than let you risk being embarrassed or rejected. So instead of trying and falling short, it convinces you not to try at all. That's not protection. That's paralysis. Philosophically, think about this. Life is not a rehearsal. You don't get a do-over. So every excuse you cling to is time you trade for regret later. You don't get to the end of your life and say, "Man, I'm glad I played it safe." No, you'll say, "I wish I had pushed harder. I wish I had stopped lying to myself." Here's what I know for sure. Every time you give an excuse power, you're voting against your future. You're saying, "I choose comfort over calling. I choose fear over faith." And if you keep choosing that, one day you're gonna wake up and realize the only thing standing between the life you had and the life you wanted was you. So the next time your mind offers you an excuse, ask yourself this: is this my truth or just my fear talking slick? Then act accordingly. Fear is faith in the wrong direction. Fear is just belief in a negative outcome. Flip that faith and watch your life change. Let's talk about fear because it's real. I'm not gonna stand up here and act like you ain't scared sometimes. We all are. But here's what most folks don't realize. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is a compass. Fear is information. The problem is we've been taught to run from it instead of reading it. See, psychologically, fear is rooted in uncertainty. Your brain doesn't know what's gonna happen, so it starts creating worst-case scenarios to keep you from moving forward. It's trying to keep you safe, but safe doesn't build empires. Safe don't start businesses. Safe don't write books or raise strong families or stand on stages. Safe just keeps you still, and stillness, when it's rooted in fear, becomes stagnation. Now here's the twist: fear and faith. They're the same thing. They both require you to believe in something you can't see. The only difference is direction. Fear believes in a negative outcome. Faith believes in a positive one. So when you say, "I'm afraid I'll fail," what you're really saying is, "I have faith that this won't work." You're still believing, just in the wrong result. Philosophically, fear is part of the human journey. But growth, that's the part you choose. You can't control the fear showing up, but you can control what you do when it knocks. Do you open the door and let it move in, or do you face it and walk through anyway? Every time you choose to move despite fear, you prove to yourself that fear ain't the truth. It's just a test. So here's what I want you to take with you. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't get to drive. Put faith in the front seat and keep it moving. You don't need permission to succeed. Waiting for validation is a trap. Grant yourself permission and move forward. Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't want to hear. You don't need permission to go after your dream. Stop waiting for somebody to tell you you're good enough, smart enough, qualified enough. That nod of approval you're hoping for. You're not guaranteed to get it, and guess what? You don't need it. This world will have you believing you need validation before you take a step forward. You're waiting on your parents to understand, your friends to support you, society to approve. But the truth is, most people can't see your vision because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. You've got to stop asking people who have never built anything if you're allowed to build your life different. Psychologically, that craving for permission is rooted in insecurity. It's that childhood wiring where you had to ask to go outside, ask to speak, ask to try. But you're grown now. You've got to rewire that. You don't need a hall pass to chase purpose. Philosophically, if life is a gift, then what you do with it is your responsibility. Not your mama's, not your pastor's, not your manager's, yours, and waiting on someone else's blessing to live your calling. That's how you end up stuck, full of regret, looking back and saying, I wish I had moved sooner. I'm telling you right now, give yourself permission. Today, not tomorrow, not next year, because your calling ain't gonna wait for the world to catch up. So here's the real talk. If you're waiting for permission, you've already delayed your purpose. Approve yourself and get to work. Discipline is the key to unlock the better you. Dreams without discipline are just wishes. Show up daily and watch yourself transform.